Welcome back, everybody, to Motocross Gaming News here on Start Your Systems. I'm your host, Kellen Brower, and today we're jumping back into our long-form interview here with the Milestone developers, Michele, Caletti, and Sebastiano Stefanetto. This time we're going to talk about physics. We are going to deep dive a little bit into the air physics, the ground physics in Supercross 25, what they changed, what they've worked on in these 2 years to try to make improvements to the game so that hopefully you guys playing at home will actually have a more enjoyable experience. So let's jump back in, shall we? Kind of wanted to move on just a little bit from the 2025 season and talk about kind of the player experience and what they can expect coming into this game this year. Obviously, a year off in terms of production of a game for you guys. So I know that there was a lot of work into, how this game was going to look and feel for 2025. So what are some of the things that you guys really feel players should be excited to feel and experience about this new one?
Well, there's a lot because having 2 years to develop it from scratch means that we've been able to think about many things. Let me state them and then we can go deeper. The new physics, ground physics, the new air physics, the evolving ruts, and the neural AI being the most evident when you're playing the game. I don't know what's your favorite, what's tingling more your interest, but all of these have been quite of a challenge and quite impactful on how the game shaped up.
Well, we could first dive into the aerial physics, the in-air physics, which I know a lot of people, it's a talking point for many. For you guys, what are some of the, I guess, key aspects that you really look to refine or improve with the in-air physics for this game specifically?
Well, the air physics were in some past games, they were something like gamified, and you had to do a precise quick time event, let me say, to perform a whip or scrub. And we've understood that many players wanted to have a free whip, and we implemented it. But here the key point is to try to find the balance between being feel like free but not paper light, and to be something you could really use, because sometimes during the development it was something like looks realistic but I cannot close it in a very stable way, or I can only close it very well but looks fake. And so we iterated a lot into trying to strike the good balance between usability, looks, realism, and physics. Sebastiano, what do you think about the result?
Well, I mean, we're all happy about it. I think you've been able to play as well, Kellen. We really wanted parted our ways from the previous titles, and we iterated a lot, starting from the first, from the starting of the second half from 2024. I think the key word was always about give back full control to players while riding the bikes, And in order to do so, our community always helped us finding the right way to do so. And it was like to completely free and unlock the mid-air physics. And about the ground physics, we simply I'm gonna use this word, but was not simple at all. Was to provide more traction and an increased sensation that the bike is actually, turning and doing its magic on dirt, on the ground, with a lot of stuff that are happening inside these kind of tracks that are always evolving and always uncontrollable compared to the concrete ones. And I think we managed that very elegantly, again thanks to our community as well, that we and of course, like, you are part of it. You kind of help us to find the right way to do something different from previous iterations of the game.
Yeah, well, you mentioned community there, and I think perhaps a misconception with some people is that you guys don't read feedback or don't take feedback about some things. What was the importance to you about these new physics to kind of hit it right, and why was like player feedback so important to kind of tackle these approaches as well for both of you guys?
It's important because sometimes you agree with what the players say, but sometimes it's very hard to make it, because while saying it with words might sound easy, boiling down to the hard tech sometimes is very hard. What I was saying for the air physics somehow holds true for the ground physics, because you want the bike to be nimble, but you want to move it in a realistic way. You want to be able to put in the direction you want, but you don't want to be too nervous. And so, while sometimes you very much agree on the requests, when you hit the barrier where you cannot or you don't know how to in practice mirror this agreement, it can be perceived like being closed behind the wall, while in fact sometimes you're trying harder and you need some more time. And this 2 years cycle development helped us to be more interactive with you creators, being able to think from a different point of view on many things, and to be able to introduce some novelties. So in fact, we very much read almost every comment and every feedback about the game. We're very keen into this, but sometimes it's very hard to incorporate everything in one burst in 1 year. And covering a couple of other topics, the ROTS and the AI is in the same groove, because many times the players have been asked for better AI and more interactive, evolving ROTS. And this was very hard to do in 1 year, but it was possible in 2. And that's exactly what we have done. We have thought of a completely dynamic system for the ROTS, where in some places you cannot have the same racing line every lap, because the truck digs in and gets a different shape, so you cannot ride in the same way, and you have to think how to exploit and to take the best of the different conditions. And the AI is based on neural AI, machine learning AI, that is faster, that can read the terrain much better, so it doesn't follow a predesigned line, and is more interactive with the other AIs and the player. So it's something we've been using on other games, but never been be able to introduce on Supercross, because it was very hard. This new AI has been in development for more than 3 years. It's very hard to teach it to jump, land, do double jumps, triples. It's very complex, but at least we've been able to do this, because it was a needed breakthrough from the past system.
I wanted to quickly, before we get into neural AI, which I'm very keen to know more about, with ground physics, with air physics, I think, maybe if you guys could describe a little bit of the difficulty, because we in this sport have a very unique system of leaving the ground, whereas for MotoGP they don't, and for other racing games they don't. So how difficult is it to kind of balance that, where, like you said, if you make a change to something with the air physics, you don't want it to reflect something you can do on the ground, because in the past games people would do like scrubbing in corners to go faster and things along those lines. And can you guys just maybe talk a little bit about the balance of both of them?
So everything that you do on one system actually reflects and interacts on the other one, as you basically said already. The fact is that you asked about the difficulties, for example, and one very solid example could be that we wanted from the start to make like our really work of art in how the bike turns and react to the really gentle slope on the supercross turning, which is a little bit inclined and very 180 degrees kind of a turn. So we increase the angular speed and reaction of the bike, and of course that completely changed the first iteration of the mid-air physics as well, because the controls that we injected into the turning on ground impacted on the way that I was able to control the rider and the bike while on air. Okay, so one prototype, let's call it that way, one prototype actually destroyed the other one. And like the entire project it was about finding the right balance, and I think this is the most difficult part, because you cannot like separate these two systems. They have to live together. So it's not just about like implementation of features of writing a good code. It's really about like looking at the game that you're building, asking yourself and feeling through the pad what are you playing. And man, how many iterations we did about that. I think like we finished not like so long ago. We are almost close to the release day, and we didn't finish that long ago because like we were able to interact with you guys through the service, to the this operation that we put together with you. And I think you helped us looking at our game and pick like the right direction. You are always inclined to choose one against the other, but you helped us in making this decision. And with you, I mean also the community as well. And yeah, it was kind of great how that worked out. I think that 2 year of development was where the main responsible in allowing us to do this. Actually, in the end, it's like this. Yeah, we took a lot of more time in finding
Also,
the right balance.
working on the physics, what we discovered was that the more you try to remove some older little helps, little code patches, little behaviors that don't have a real physics foundation, the more you take away these things, the more you end up with something that is more simple and should respond in the very same way to the reality. Instead, the more you feel like you're trying to add some little patches to address some specific behavior, the more you understand 2 weeks later that there's something broken somewhere else. So at the end of the day, what the result is a simpler, from the development side, code to have a more natural response of the bike in all the situations. And that's one of the things that we've been able to do and paid off. And the curious thing is that when you have to stop fiddling with the physics, because the AI needs to run its trainings, and you cannot definitely change the physics while it's going on. So you're forced to decide, okay, I'm done, because or else you'll never pack an AI to go along.
I mean, you can, but it's not going to work out well.
Sure. If you like that video, be sure to subscribe to the channel for much more motocross gaming content.